Welcome to Beyond the Lines podcast. I'm Jared Gamble. I'm here with, of course, Felipe Fontes. It's Friday, May 22nd. We're back with another episode, man. We got a bunch of heat today.
Yeah, man, let's just say it was a little bit easier to come up with the 5 facts today than it has been in the past. A lot of stuff. Doesn't really seem like we're in quarantine with all the news we got coming out, but, that makes for a good show.
Yeah, that's good news, man. We got. It feels like sports might be steadily coming back, and we've been DMing each other all week. Hey, we got this. We could talk about. So, man, we got a lot. I think it's gonna be a great show. I think we're gonna hit it off good.
It's gonna be hot, man.
Right.
Here we go. 5 quick facts. Let's get into them. Number 1, Dak is completely delusional. Dak wants what? $45 million? Out of his goddamn mind. It just continues getting worse with Dak. Last summer, the quarterback turned down $30 million, an action many people scoffed at. Then, it came out that he asked for $40. Well, the season continued without a contract. Dak played yet another year where we did see some progression, but also saw the inconsistencies that a top quarterback in this league won't give you. Most of all, he led a stacked offense to yet another year of 8-8. That's worth $40 million. As discussions have been going on between Dak and the Cowboys this offseason, apparently the team offered him 5 years at $175 million. That's exactly $35 a year. Let's put that into perspective. That's Russell Wilson money, the most in the NFL. But it's safe to say that Russ earned it. And what did Dak say to the offer? That sounds okay, but I want $45 million in the last year, just in case the market skyrockets a few years from now. All right. Enough about the money, because it's clear that the middle-of-the-pack quarterback is misguided. The thing that Dak doesn't understand is that, dude, do you like the team you have around you? Do you want a defense that isn't going to force you to score on every possession? The salary cap is the salary cap. Even with the great offense, you went 8-8, albeit with the largely average defense. How are you going to do when that supporting cast gets worse because you're taking a larger piece of the pie? There's no proof you can carry a team. That means your wallet shouldn't be carrying $45 million either. Number 2, the Saints better not be serious about life after Drew Brees. Taysom Hill is expected to be the guy in New Orleans after Drew Brees retires, according to Jay Glazer. He said, I think Sean was hoping to unleash him on the league without anyone seeing him before, but now we've seen it with Lamar Jackson. He's a bigger Lamar Jackson. No, it's not a smokescreen. He likes him that much. He'll be the guy. He's with the perfect coach for that. I'll stop him right there. Lamar Jackson? That's your comparison? Taysom Hill is versatile, a Swiss Army knife if you will. Played quarterback at BYU, and now the Saints use him in a variety of offensive sets that allow him to succeed both as a runner and a receiver. But let's get this straight. He's no NFL quarterback. You clearly see it when he drops back to pass, front and center. The arm strength just isn't there, let alone all the other intangibles needed to be an NFL quarterback. He was an undrafted quarterback at a BYU, and you think he's going to be the guy? Forget following up Drew Brees. That's like expecting Julian Edelman, who was also a quarterback in college, to follow up Tom Brady at the quarterback position. It ain't happening. I trust Sean Payton's eye for talent, but either Glazer misreported this story or Taysom Hill's been training in outer space. Number 3, LeBron would not have been a better teammate to MJ than Pippen. LeBron thinks he and Michael Jordan would have been perfect teammates. For LeBron's own case, I say, I hope not. LeBron is one of the greatest talents we've ever seen, capable of doing nearly anything he wants on a basketball court, including scoring at will with his dominant frame. With that being said, playing alongside MJ, you're going to greatly hinder that exact part of your game. LeBron doesn't seem to care though. He said, me personally, the way I play the game, team first, I feel like my best assets work perfectly with Mike. Mike is an assassin. When it comes to playing the game of basketball, scoring the way he scored the ball, and my ability to pass and my ability to read the game plays in advance. Here's the thing. I don't believe that LeBron would be willing to sacrifice a part of his game that he could be so good at. And what does that ultimately do? It takes the ball away from the greatest scoring assassin we've ever seen. not to mention detriment his own game and all-time standing. And even if he is less aggressive scoring-wise, the Bulls excelled within the triangle offense, predicated off a heavy dose of ball movement. LeBron might be a great passer, but his tendency to hold on to the ball and make his own plays contradicts the free-flowing spirit of the triangle offense. The Bulls were an all-time great dynasty for a reason. Every person played their role to a T, and the cohesiveness that resulted was otherworldly. LeBron would disrupt that strictly because of his transcendent abilities. Number 4, Bill Belichick is more valuable to the Patriots than Tom Brady is to the Buccaneers. This comes down to two simple facts. The Bucs went 7-9 last year with the quarterback that no team decided to take on as a starter this year. Look at it that way, and they went 7-9 with the backup quarterback, Jameis Winston, that is. 7 out of 9 of those games they lost by only 1 score, including 2 overtime games and 3 games that were decided by 4 points or less. In other words, they weren't far from being very good. Now add Gronk and arguably the best offensive lineman in the draft to their disposal, and this team is pretty damn good. Stacking on 3 to 5 more wins this year isn't crazy, no matter if it's Tom Brady back there or Kirk Cousins. Most people agree that most quarterbacks are an upgrade over Winston. With Belichick, on the other hand, we've seen what he's done without Tom Brady at quarterback. 11-5 with Matt Castle in 2008. That's the same quarterback who stepped in for the Cowboys in 2015 and won 1 game. The same team that went 12-4 the year before with Romo. The X factor in Matt Castle's success? Bill Belichick. His value is undeniable. Number 5, if the Pats sign Cam Newton, they're a lock for the playoffs. It's only right hopping from the last take to this one. Yeah, you heard me right. I said it's a guarantee they make the playoffs. The Patriots appear to be frontrunners to sign Cam Newton. The former Carolina quarterback has questions about his health, a large part of the reason he remains unsigned to this day. Here's the thing though, the Patriots have been clear on the optimism they have for Jarrett Stidham. I'm not questioning that. But bring on Cam Newton, a quarterback with experience that can still perform at a high level, and you got a hell of an insurance policy that can continue to recover if he does in fact need more time. If he happens to be ready, look, I know you like Stidham, but Cam is a bona fide starter in this league. He's played under bright lights and pressure. Replacing Tom is going to be a smooth transition, and frankly, an upgrade. I'm optimistic about Stidham, solely because Belichick is, and I know the eye he has for talent. But if Cam turns out to be healthy and he's a plug-and-play in that system from week 1, watch out. No questions asked. They'll be better than they were with Tom Brady last year.
My guy Felipe, man. Hey, your LeBron takes, they've been a little bit out there lately. In the last few episodes, they've been a little bit out there, but on this one, you know, it was so. You make some valid points. Here and there. Okay. But it's still my worst take, and I'm not gonna give you a complete F. I'll give you around a C minus. So you passed. Congratulations. But yeah. it's still my worst take. And the worst take is, you know, a question was asked to LeBron that, you know, hey, do you think you could be a running mate, a good teammate with a Michael Jordan? And he said absolutely. And you go off and say, I don't know, because him and Scotty, you know, Michael and Scotty won 6 and 8 years. Is it different? LeBron's going to run this, you know, triangle offensive type of stuff, and might be too big. LeBron might have too great of a role to play with a player such as Michael Jordan, who has equally that role. And I get all that. I get it. But when you put 2, in my book, of the greatest players ever, and 2 just in general superstars together, they are such basketball savants. They all make it work. This notion that we get, I always hear that, oh, these 2 guys need the ball too much, or these guys, you know, they're too great of players to fit together. It just don't make sense to me, because if you're the highest level at your sport, man, your mind is, you know, you're just mentally there. And I think they could figure out, you know, how to make that work. And I get it's kind of hard to say. I'm not arguing they would be better, because you had 6 out of 8. So that's not right. When it comes to ring winning standpoint, I'm not gonna say they'd be better, because, you know, Scotty, Michael won 6. But I think LeBron, what he can do as a player and how versatile he is, you know, in his own right, was a great defender in his prime, and even picked it back up this year. He should have been Defensive Player of the Year. I think it was 2013. He was a 5-6-time All-NBA defensive player, first team. And you pair that with Michael, a guy who can, and LeBron can also pass and, get to his spots, and he's such a dominant force in the paint. And if, he has to adjust to a triangle offense, I think LeBron is arguably the greatest basketball mind that we've seen, that people like to argue, him or Magic Johnson. And I just think, he would figure out the adjustment. And I think Michael Jordan, in his own right, is also a great basketball mind. They would figure out how to feed off of each other so well, because it's just simple. I don't want to, beat the head off of it, but their basketball minds are just so great. I think it'd be really easy for them to pair up.
I mean, no question that if LeBron is able to fit in that role and diminish himself to that level, they're going to be able to be successful the same way. If you take Scottie Pippen's role, for sure, I don't think he'd be willing to take that role. LeBron is he was the chosen one coming out of high school. So we're making this assumption with the same mentality that, this is under the same circumstances. So he's coming out of high school, the chosen one, the biggest megastar to ever come out of high school. Like, this is bigger than Zion. Like, we know it recently because we've seen Zion, but LeBron was bigger than that when he was coming out of high school. So you pair that with Michael Jordan, and you think he's going to be willing to fit within that role? Scottie Pippen went to a school that nobody's ever heard of, and he came into the NBA. He was the 5th overall pick, but still, no, they weren't looking at Scottie like, he wasn't this big-time prospect coming out. He knew who Michael Jordan was because Michael Jordan was that dude when he joined. So him joining Michael Jordan in the Bulls, he knows his role. He knows how he's going to have to fit in, and Michael Jordan saw really quickly how he was able to adjust to his game. But LeBron James, with his status, being able to adjust to Michael Jordan, he wouldn't be able to do that. So now you're talking about conflicting styles of play. You're talking about conflicting who's going to be more ball dominant, because LeBron, as great of a passer as he is, he's very ball dominant. So he's not looking at what made the Bulls successful, right? It was the triangle offense. They took a while to really start succeeding, and you can say Scottie Pippen came in, but also Phil Jackson in the triangle offense made a big difference. Michael's production went down a little bit. But would LeBron be able to fit in within that system? LeBron is ball dominant. He's a passer. He's going to find the open guys, but he's the quarterback of the team. And that's a large part of the reason we call him one of the greatest players of all time, because of his mind, because of his ability to pass the rock, right? But in that triangle offense, this ain't you making all the plays. This is everybody free flowing, everybody going back and forth. And just because you're a great passer doesn't mean you're going to fit the system in the same way.
Scottie Pippen was also the orchestrator of the offense a lot of times. So it wasn't just Michael. So there was that guy, taking care of that ball. And to go back to, LeBron was a huge Michael Jordan was his favorite player, as he's said many of times. So if, say, LeBron, say, came in 8 years after, and they started playing with each other, I think LeBron would be absolutely fine. He would make those adjustments. Hey, this is my favorite player. He's a winner.
Your idols become your rivals, man. Your idols become your rivals.
Yeah, but if he was coming in and they would join the same team, like if he got drafted to the Bulls, like instead of Scottie Pippen, and say in those 5 years prior, like LeBron's in high school or something, MJ was still his favorite player, then LeBron would be, I think, even more juiced and, hey, I'm going to make this guy better. He's going to make me better. But if they came in at the same time, say, or around the, like kind of how Scottie Pippen came in before MJ, LeBron, I think LeBron wasn't, he can make those adjustments. He was that guy. He was that star-studded, like you say, the chosen one, but he wasn't the accomplished winner yet, because he was so young, and, he wasn't, unfortunately, in the worst freaking, such an incompetent front office. I didn't want to provide him anything.
Absolutely.
Provided him Larry Hughes. They provided him one All-Star in his 8-year career. Not one player. One player got one All-Star. Mo Williams got it one time. That was it. So LeBron going to Miami and stuff was a product of that. So I think if MJ would help him, MJ wasn't a winner yet either, but I think they would help each other in their level of greatness and their superior mindset. If LeBron needs to adjust to do a triangle offense, he can, because Scottie Pippen a lot of times was the orchestrator, and they're this similar. Scottie Pippen was the quote unquote the point forward of that time. Right. That was his role, and that's what LeBron is. He's excelled the point forward. So I think LeBron, if he needed to do that, sure. And that pace back then was what it was now, or for a couple of years. So if it's a fast break and stuff like that, then LeBron's passing and his real skill set, it just makes him even better because now he's such a great passer. He will find you. He'll find you in the corner. He'll find a cutter. So I just think there isn't that much of an issue of fitting LeBron in because it's easy to fit Jordan in because Jordan is like a Kevin Durant, a Kawhi Leonard. Find your spot, shoot it. Find your spot, get to your spot, and hit them jumpers. And Jordan did it efficiently. But LeBron is such an efficient player in his own right, man. And he especially this year, he's a really good post player. Arguably the best. It's the best play in the league by some a metric. And I just think he'd be working on his post game even more back in that time. And LeBron MJ would help him get better. I think LeBron would help. It's hard to say these two guys getting better because they're so great, but they would make each other better. And I just think their minds are so superior and so high that, it wouldn't be in question if they can make that work.
So you think LeBron would be willing to sacrifice his game? Because I guess that's what it comes down to. LeBron sacrifices part of his scoring and everything like that.
MJ sacrificed his game, right? When Scottie came, his scoring came down a little bit. His shots per game came down a little bit. So it wouldn't just have to be LeBron that sacrifices. And look, if I'm putting them, it also have to be MJ sacrifice. But I'm putting both of them at a young age. So LeBron wasn't like
so developing together.
That part. So it's not like Michael's got 6, LeBron's got 3. They're both 12 years in their prime. Put them together. That's a little different. So I would still think that would work out because they're such great players and they're in their prime. I just think it would be you can't stop it. How you want to stop it? You can't. But if I have them developing together, so we would have to see what the pecking order is and who gets this shot. Where do you want this shot at and stuff like that.
Look, I think great players develop into great players because of their confidence and they know exactly who they are. I believe LeBron James knew what he was coming into the league, and obviously Michael Jordan did as well. I mean, Michael Jordan his first time being on a scene wasn't in the NBA. He hit that big shot to win the national championship in college. Player. So it's hard for me to see. I mean, I understand that players aren't heralded as they are today with social media and everything like that. So and the admiration, like you did say, that LeBron had for Mike, but you're great and your worth. And at some point, it's like, what are you willing to sacrifice to win? And they would be able to win together, and maybe their numbers wouldn't be sacrificed to a crazy extent. But if it does happen in that way, you're not talking about LeBron being one of the top 5 players of all time, are you? Like, are you talking about LeBron being one of the top 5 players of all time if he has to develop alongside MJ? Because I think MJ is going to be the assassin he is regardless.
Why would LeBron? It's not about. LeBron's production isn't going down to Scottie Pippen's because LeBron's a better player. Like, he's not just going. It's not. Hey,
so then you're taking production away from MJ.
Both are going to have to be. When you're a young player developing together, you really want to win. Not somehow these players do now. Just want to play video games all day and then stats. These two guys, I believe Jordan came in, wanted to win. I believe LeBron came in. LeBron wanted to win. So I believe you are going to sacrifice, stuff, to hey. Or to win. Is MJ going to average 37? Is he going to be that guy that averaged 8 years plus of 30 points per game? He might not be. So we might be looking at because MJ's greatness is wins, and his stats and his efficiency help that out as well. So both of them are going to have the wins, and MJ's stats also might go down a little bit. LeBron's stats might go down a little bit. So we can argue would LeBron be a top 5 player? I think absolutely, because his skill set, their skill sets aren't going away. We can just look at the skill set. LeBron's not fitting he's not going in to be Scottie Pippen's role. That's not the question. Because LeBron, you can put him in that role, but LeBron's just so much better, in my opinion, and a lot of people's, than Scottie Pippen. So we're still getting a little less production, but the value and the level of skill and the greatness, I think we would see and be like, wow, these two guys are just absolutely terrific. Because if MJ averages 28, LeBron averages 24, 8, and 8. Oh, we're not looking at LeBron at something else. They both have 8 titles. What if they could have won a little earlier? They could have won more. What if they had 8 titles? I don't think if both of them are putting up those numbers, which I believe they would, a little lower, obviously, but I don't think it'd be that much lower, then, we're going to argue, oh, these guys, man, they're just 2 of the greatest players ever. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care who you say number 1 or anything is, but that's how I would believe it to be.
No, yeah, we've seen superstars do great together. Kareem and Magic play great together, and both of them and a lot of people's lists are on the top 5, right? And definitely in the top 7 to 10. So they would be very, very good together. My only question to you is that the combination of Michael Jordan and LeBron James, that production, depending on what it tops out to be together, you think it would be more efficient, it would be more productive than what Mike and Scottie had and the rest of that team? Because the rest of that team we got to put in consideration as well. It fit that team perfectly. If LeBron's in the post, you're taking away from some of these other players' games maybe as well, maybe the Horace Grants and everything. So that's everything into consideration. But you think, obviously LeBron is a better player than Scottie Pippen. But you think the production that came from that well-rounded team effort, and particularly between the tandem of LeBron and Scottie Pippen, you think that, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, that because of LeBron's transcendent skill set, they him with Jordan and them able to fix their games, that would top out better than it would otherwise?
Well, I mean, you got 6 rings, so you can't really top that.
Yeah, but you think they could win before they started winning. So then you're talking about 8, 9, 10 rings.
Right. Like, we don't know because LeBron came in. Both of those players came in act like they were freaking 8-year vets. None of those, LeBron and MJ didn't come in, because Kobe and, I believe like a Kevin Garnett, they came in and they had to develop. The roles were different.
Right. Didn't play much. Right.
MJ and LeBron came in at 18, averaging 20. MJ came in at 22, 23 in his second year, averaging 30-something. So it's like these guys, I believe, they had to go up against the Lakers of the world and the Celtics of the world. So who knows if, their youth would have stopped them. But I believe those two guys aren't losing to the bad boys. If you have LeBron instead of, well, I guess Scottie, I don't know how, did they lose to the bad boys Pistons with Scottie one time?
Yeah, they had Scottie.
Yeah, right. So that's what I thought. So I think they win with a LeBron. It's just, but it's a hypothetical how they wanted to develop. But I just believe they would feed off each other so well. And I mean, another point is, like you said, if you put LeBron in the post, might take away from players. But you can say that anyway. If you put MJ with the Warriors, you're taking a ball out of the 2 greatest, 3-point shooters' hands ever. So it goes all different ways. It goes ways. There's adjusting to do and sacrificing. But I believe those two guys want to win equally, and they would do whatever it takes to do it. Does Dak want to win the lottery or something, Felipe? Is that what this is?
And it seems like it. One playoff win, and you asking for the big bucks?
He might as well. You better. I hope he's doing a bunch of them scratch-offs or whatever. He's going to WinStar and throwing a lot on red. I hope he's throwing a lot on red. But, man, what you said, man, this is why this is my best take. Because I totally agree with you. Dak wants, the rumor came out, he turned down the 5 for 175. Now that reported by Chris Sims, then Rappaport or Schefter, I think it was Rappaport, came out and said, that's false. Who knows? It feels like one time a story is real, the next time a story is false. Who knows if someone in Dak's camp is close to Rappaport saying, hey, no, bro. She'll say it's false. It could be true, but I have no reason, to be honest, to believe that is not true. As to how long this has gone, I have no reason.
Absolutely.
So I kind of, in a way, to believe like, hey, this probably is true. Now, I get it's all based off this 5th year. Dak wants 4, and if they're going to give him 5, he wants well above freaking 45, north of $45 million. Man, I get it, and you got these people on Twitter, these money gurus apparently. Oh, it's not going to do this. It's not going to do that. It's only $2 million more. I mean, it just gets to the point you don't. I keep arguing with people, and they're like, "Well, it's a franchise quarterback. You just can't win. It's hard to win with all those with money coming towards you and nobody else. Like, if you have some players on offense, under contract, but your defense you don't, and that even on offense, that offensive line, Tyron Smith is getting older, injury riddled. Zach Martin, he's still great, but they're just going to get older. So it gets to the point where, man, I know you think you deserve your money, but I want to hit this. All right, he wants more than Goff and Wentz, right?
Yeah,
that's the thing. He wants more than Goff and
Wentz with considerably better teams.
Right, he wants more money. Okay, so do I think Dak Prescott is better than Jared Goff? I do think he's better than Jared Goff. Do I think he's better than Wentz? I actually don't think he's better than Carson Wentz. I think Wentz is a really good quarterback can't stay on the field. Now that's fair, but if we're basing off just strictly skill set and
Right.
stuff like that,
Sure.
I think Wentz is a better quarterback. But you know what? Goff can say in negotiations when he got his contract that Dak can't. I led us to a Super Bowl.
Wins, man.
Regardless, if you want to believe that Jared Goff really led them to the Super Bowl, it could have been Aaron Donald. If Jared Goff didn't play that great in the that Super Bowl, but guess what? That doesn't matter. 9 times out of the 10, that glory is going to who? The quarterback. So Jared Goff can say in those negotiations, I got a Super Bowl. What is Dak saying? I got one playoff win?
I got one playoff win, man. I don't know if that's what he's exactly banking. If he's coming to them, I got a playoff win, like pay me. Here's the thing is we know that Dak has the intangibles. Like Dak is a great leader. You look at him and you say, you know, that's the quarterback, that's the guy. And I do believe quarterback is the most important position in sports, undoubtedly. If you don't have
I want to say, though, going back to my Jared Goff, I was comparing the contract situations because he wants more than Goff. In case viewers were like, why are you mentioning Goff? What does that have to do with anything? But yeah, my bad.
Dak, I do think quarterback is the most important position in sports. And Dak might be banking on, look, man, I have the intangibles. It's harder to have the intangibles than the skill set. This is what it comes down to if you really want to get paid like that, right? And you're taking money away from other players' pockets. Because that's at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You got to look at it that way because you're not able to pay everybody, right? So if you want a better supporting cast, then you want to take less money like Tom Brady has, like other players have in the past. This is what it comes down to. You have these intangibles. You're a great leader and everything. But to be a great leader and to lead, you need to have those who are going to follow. And those who are going to follow are going to need to be talented. They're going to need to provide some sort of support for you, right? If what you're banking on is a skill set and you don't have those necessary intangibles, as in like you're not a great leader, you're not the guy, like you don't have that dominant personality, like we've heard of a Jared Goff, like we've heard of some of these quarterbacks like that, then your skill set, whether it's your arm strength, your ability to win, your talent, when it comes down to it, that's able to carry less than stellar supporting cast over the top. But pure intangibles as far as leadership necessarily isn't, right? So Aaron Rodgers, like that kind of talent, he's going to be able to carry Valdez Scantling to a 13-3 record. But Dak Prescott, 8-8 with an amazing offense. Like, let's just be flat out about it. Like, every single year we talk about how great this offense is, and some years it's a little bit better. They won 10 games. They win 11 games. Last year they won 8. No reason you should win 8 games no matter how average your defense is. But now you want more money. Your defense is going to get worse, and your offense is already what it is. It's going to get a little bit better now because of CeeDee Lamb. But honestly, is it going to get better because you lost Travis Frederick? So I don't even know. At some point, your offense, I don't know how much better it's going to get. But now you're talking about strictly it getting worse. It's not going to get better. And your skill set isn't passing ability. It's what you have is the intangible, like a great leader, and the Cowboys appreciate that. But is that enough to get you over the top? I don't think that's as valuable as just being a pure talented passer at the end of the day.
No, for sure. And I think another issue is because all you said was 100% correct. It seems that the Cowboys have operated in I want to say like a Madden way. They put all their marbles, like their best players right now are these skill set players in offense line, like these receivers and running backs. And those, you could argue, aren't necessarily that big of a necessity to win. We don't have the corner. We don't have, you got DeMarcus Lawrence, but I can argue that he's a little bit over 5 sacks last year. I get he gets double teamed, but Aaron Donald gets double teamed. Khalil Mack gets double. They're getting 5. Aaron Donald does it at the defense tackle position. I know he's not Aaron Donald, but Chandler Jones, they get double teamed. Give me more than 5. So you don't have the D line, the really important. The corners nowadays are really important. You don't really have those.
You lost Byron Jones already.
Yeah, you actually don't have any corners at all because they're no offense, they're hot garbage. I'm sorry, Anthony Brown.
See what Trayvon Diggs can do over there. That was a pretty good draft pick at a value price.
But they want him to develop because he's only a 2-year player that's played corner. So I'm expecting him to be the 4th corner coming in because they don't want to throw him right in there. So when you got, like you said, you know, the intangibles and the skill set, like the intangibles are all there. But when it comes to like a Dak Prescott, I've seen him with one offensive lineman hurt, gone from the week. It's been bad at some points. So you're telling me you have to have all of these great players. And I get quarterbacks need great players. But I've seen Aaron Rodgers do it with bad offensive lines. You've seen Tom Brady do it with no receivers. So when it gets to Dak Prescott, you miss a left guard and you're just in shambles. So when you make this $45 million in 2-3 more years, you're going to have to elevate them. And who knows, maybe the more years as he gets into the league that he progresses, he does. But at this
but
rate,
now you're banking on potential. In other words, you ain't done shit yet. And what are you going to do? Like, we don't know.
Exactly. So we don't know. So exactly, you're banking on the potential, and we don't know that. So if you need everything to be perfect, you have to have, 3 wide receivers. Did they? I get CD was best available, but who knows? Did they draft him to say, all right, shit, we're giving him another offensive weapon, so we're giving him another one. We're giving an absolute another one, so now there's no bad that can come out of this. It gets to the point where, man, it's like, if you're going to get all this money, man, where are we going to have to get these linemen in a couple of years, or these corners and stuff like that? So it gets to the point where it's like you're going to have to elevate not only part of the offense, somehow you're going to have to elevate the defense because 40 million is coming to you.
No, unquestionably. That's exactly what it comes down to. And you're willing to give that up if your quarterback can carry your team. If your quarterback can carry your team, then you're willing to give up the amount of talent that you have around, especially Dak has so much talent around him. But Dak has proven he can't carry a team. He can't lead a team to multiple playoff victories with transcendent talent around him, with very good talent around him. So if you're taking a large piece of the pie out and taking other money out of other guys' pockets, and you're not able to keep these guys because they're going to go on to other teams, they deserve to get paid as well, then what's saying you're going to win as much as you're already winning? You're going to win less than you're already winning unless, like you said, you develop. But then you're banking on potential if you're the Dallas Cowboys, and then you just ask the question: Do you pay for potential?
Right. And then last year, man, you lost to a JV team in the last week 17, the Eagles, to go to the playoffs, or week 16.
Yeah.
You no reason why your team is losing to Carson Wentz throwing to Greg Ward Jr. and freaking who the hell knows who their other damn receiver was.
Yeah,
but I don't know. The number one receiver at the end of the year was like literally Greg Ward Jr. Like, you're losing to a team whose secondary was injury riddled. And I get it. It's not all on the quarterback because he's not playing defense. But guess what? When you want this type of change, you might as well be playing defense. You might as well be. Because, and I want to bring this up because a lot of people think, Dak is a better player than Tony Romo. And Tony Romo is my favorite, football player ever. And people can think I'm biased. But thing with Tony Romo, we saw him keep us alive. Dude, the only reason we were 8-8 was because of Tony Romo. The reason we were 8-8 past year. Why? I mean, we should have been 8-8. So that has to come on to Dak at some point because you have that talent. Why are you 8-8? There's no excuse for your team to be 8-8 last year. There is none. And you're the quarterback. Yeah, so you're going to get the glory and the shame.
No, that's an amazing point. And I honestly think that exact point needs to be brought up more. It's not going to because, why is common people going to look at the past with the Dallas Cowboys and Tony Romo and everything. But that's definitely something to consider because especially when you consider, he was the only reason the Cowboys were 8-8 all those years. And when they finally gave him a team that was good, that was pretty good, gave him a supporting cast, they went 12-4. And Romo gets hurt that next year. He wins the first 2 games. They only win 2 more games one more game without him the rest of the year. They went 4-12 that year, and Romo got you 3 of those wins. So that's the drop off you have when you lose Tony Romo. That's not the same. With Dak, you have a great team around, and I think if you replace Dak with any other decent quarterback, good quarterback, you're actually gonna do better. So it's a huge drop off from Romo to Dak, and that's the exactly what you're saying. Right. Like you see it within the own organization over the past 7-8 years.
For sure, man, 100%. All these Cam Newton to the Patriots rumors are surrounding now. I've seen a little bit of them, and so have you. And this is why it's my hottest take. You think Patriots and Bill Belichick and them and Kraft sign Cam Newton, that they would be a good team, a really good team.
Not only would it be a good team, they'd be the 3rd best team in the AFC. I truly believe they would be the 3rd best team in the AFC. With that system, you add Cam Newton for sure, 3rd best team in the AFC, playoff team, no doubt about it.
Oh, that's. Man, I should change. This the worst take, man. No, but I don't think they'd be the 3rd best team. And I'm not saying because I think Cam Newton's a bad quarterback, but I also don't think he's a good quarterback. I think he's just average. I think Cam Newton's an average quarterback. I think, man, in his 6 out of his 8 years, he's thrown under 60% completion percentage. And the reason being, like, I think Cam can get it done when he has certain talent around him. But if you're bringing him on the Patriots with an older Julian Edelman as your number one, a Marquise Lee, your running back is who? Sony Michel and Brandon Bolden. Who the hell is your tight end? Like, I get it. Your just offense it's not formulated for success to Cam Newton. I just don't see how the weapons he would have would make them a 9, maybe a 10. Like you said, third best in the AFC, man. That's crazy because that's around 11, probably 11 wins. And I just
11, 12.
I have him I do think he's better than Stidham, but I think I have him around 6 to maybe 7 with Stidham. If you give me Cam, I think 8-8, maybe 9-7 at best. I haven't done the Patriots schedule yet, which I do all teams. So I'll have to see, but I think that's where they're hovering around. I don't think they will make the playoffs. I don't think they're better than the Cleveland Browns. I think they won't be better than them. I don't think they're better than the Buffalo Bills. You know, there's other teams out there. I don't know if they're better than the Colts. I get Phil Rivers over the hill, but they got a lot of talent over there, offense, defense, offensive line, great coach as well. It's just Cam Newton, man. He's just an average quarterback, and with that talent, I just don't see average quarterback, you know, making them this much better and winning 11 games.
I think Cam Newton's better than average. I think he's a good starter in this league. I don't think he's great. By no means is he great. I think he's good. The Panthers, they're not a first-class organization. I mean, they never gave him anything great to work with. And the last couple of years, he's had Christian McCaffrey who came in. At the same time, receivers aren't really all that what he's had. And in the beginning of his career, he had Steve Smith, and he was pretty damn good in the beginning of his career. I mean, MVP season in 2015, went to the Super Bowl.
Olsen too. Yeah, Greg Olsen. You know,
right. No doubt about it. But he was pretty. Yeah, and they were pretty good in those years. But I think when it comes down to it, he's a good quarterback. If you want to say he's between 12th to 15th best, you know, I'll take that. Maybe 10th to 15th best. On a good day, I think he rounds out about 10th, 11th best quarterback in the NFL.
That's high for me. That's really high.
But that's not even what this comes down to. He's good and everything. Cool. You mentioned the Patriots' skill positions and the skill set they have there. Yeah, it's not great.
It's not good, really. But Bill Belichick makes them. Bill Belichick makes them better.
How good was it? How good was it last year?
But that's why they kind of flamed out, though. You know, who they lose to Tennessee.
I saw Tom Brady not live up to the way he's been playing throughout his career.
No, yeah, he did. Tom Brady did lose a step,
and they still went. He 100% lost a step, and they still went 12-4 last year without a great team. The Patriots have always like every single year. Some years they have good talent, but regardless if they have good talent or they have mediocre talent, they always outperform their talent. If you have Cam Newton there, who I think is a good quarterback, not like I said, not great, but he's a good quarterback, you're going to outperform your talent regardless. If it's Jerry Stidham there, you're going to outperform your talent. You bring Cam Newton in, a bona fide starter, a former star in this league, and someone who can still get it done. Bill Belichick's going to be able to build his offense a little bit around Cam Newton's skill set. Tom Brady didn't have the athleticism, the dynamic game that Cam Newton has. Bill Belichick's going to be able to build around that, but at the same time still incorporate everything that made Tom Brady successful in that. Who knows? Who's saying they can't bring in free agents? We know the Patriots always are bringing in guys.
It's a little late. It's a little late in the year for that. I mean, there's still some guys out there.
They bring in guys in the middle of the season. They brought Mohamed Sanu in mid-season last year.
Crazy. Which was terrible. Right. Second-round draft pick.
Right. Trades, free agents. However you get your guys in. I mean, I think what the bottom line is, the Patriots outperform the talent that they have, the skill set that they have. They always do better than they're expected to, and then, frankly, than how they should do.
No.
If you had Cam Newton there, I think it's an upgrade over Tom Brady. They went 12-4 last year. They can go 12-4 this year. Maybe that's asking too much, but they'll win 10-11.
Now, here's the thing that you're missing. It's not just about you're saying Tom Brady. So you're just saying overall skill set right now, Cam Newton's better than Tom Brady.
So yeah, and they're working with a relatively the same skill set as they had last year.
But here's what you're missing. It's not just Belichick that elevates these players. When you're a young guy that might be a third-round draft pick, or you might be a guy that's been in the league, a journeyman, and you get in the locker room with a Tom Brady, regardless of how much he's flamed out, you're in the locker room with Tom Brady, and you best believe when you're in the locker room with Tom Brady, you're playing harder than you ever have, and we have facts on that. Chris Hogan, there's many, and I can't name a lot off the top of my head, but there's many players who have went that from another team, or that was on another team, didn't really do anything, went to the Patriots, looked really good. Rex Burkhead even does his little thing in the games, and was it second, third string running back with who? Cincinnati? I don't even remember.
So you're basing that success of these low name players completely off of just Tom Brady's aura, like what he has.
Well, it's a product of Bill Belichick. It's a product of the winning mentality they have there. Yes, I believe it's the aura of Tom Brady is rubbing off on them. If you were to go in the locker room,
it is, but it's not helping them win 8 extra games.
But the thing is, it's helping those players play to their best potential, because Tom Brady, like we said, flamed out last year, and there's no reason why they should have been. I mean, they did have an easy schedule. They went 12-4, and I don't think they went 12-4 because of freaking Philip Dorsett, or they went 12-4 regardless of how much Tom Brady, or regardless of Tom Brady flamed out and he was over the hill. It's him and Belichick. It's them too. So it has to be part of that is that locker room presence and that level of greatness that comes with the Patriots. And I just think if you throw in a Cam Newton, you're missing Brady. And I know Belichick's there, but Cam Newton's not going to have that same locker room presence as a 6-time world champion. It's just not.
Last time we saw the Patriots without Tom Brady was in 2008. Tom Brady tore his ACL in the first game of the season. Matt Castle stepped in, played the whole season. The Patriots won 11 games.
Yeah,
Bill Belichick is undeniably the most valuable piece of that team. If Tom Brady leaves, and you're talking about in Tom Brady's peak, we're not even talking about that. The year before, 2007, the Patriots went undefeated, went all the way to the Super Bowl and lost to the Giants. We understand that. But that team was the most talented team of all time, arguably. Bill Belichick, guess what? Tom Brady goes down the next year. Bill Belichick still gets them to 11-5. They lose 5 games that year.
But
with Matt Castle.
They did, and they still missed the playoffs. I get they won 11 games, but the thing is that Tom Brady and them, they obviously, their teams, last season was the worst talent they've collectively had in a long time. It's just all these.
And they still won 12 games.
That's a product
with Tom Brady, as you acknowledge, flaming out.
But that is a product of two things. Like I said, his aura, but also a really bad, I think, schedule, a division that wasn't, you only had the Buffalo Bills that came up. That was about it. Their schedule's never been really good. But if you want to go back to, the Matt Castle thing, like Tom Brady was 8 years in. So when it comes to a peak of quarter, his peak is, I think he's gotten better since 2008. You talk about, I think in the 2010s when he started getting older, 2011. So, but you said Bill Belichick is the most important piece. That's just, I get Bill Belichick's the greatest coach ever, but you're not more of an important piece than the guy doing it. Because I get if you had Aaron Rodgers, like you could say if you had Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady, they're going to win more or the same. But that's different because Aaron Rodgers is equally as skilled, if not better, more skilled than Tom Brady.
Aaron Rodgers in New England would win at least 8 rings.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with Tom Brady or Bill Belichick. That has to do with how good that has to do with Bill Belichick and the system of the organization. That's nothing to do with Tom Brady and his importance. That has to do with how great Aaron Rodgers is. Because you can say you throw an Andy Dalton in there, are they winning rings? No. So you can't use the Russell Wilson.
They'll go 12-4, 13-3 with Andy Dalton, and they'll get bounced out in the divisional AFC Championship game.
Not 13-3 unless they're playing the Miami Dolphins 14 out of the 17 weeks. Then yeah, sure. But no, I just think the Bill Belichick is super important. Yeah, but when it comes to the players on the field and what Tom Brady carries, I promise you those players, they're around Tom Brady more than Bill, and they're in the locker room with Tom Brady. They're training with Tom Brady. Right. So they feel this level of greatness coming off of Tom Brady. Yeah. Bill Belichick.
That's infectious. I'll give him that.
Exactly. You respect Bill Belichick and his greatness. And whatever he says, you're going to do because he's got the rings to also back it up. But it's just something about the players and how these players adapt to their peer, to their neighbor, more than the coach, I think would just rub off more. And not to mention the Patriots have also lost key contributors on defense. They lost Kyle Van Noy to the
But they
Dolphins.
lose. But they lose that. They lose that every year. I could care less about. Like I said, the skill set. I think the system they have in place is just. It's hard to fail. And in Cam Newton being who he is, he's gonna succeed in it.
You can say, yeah, they do lose players, this and that, but they lost. I mean, that's wait to be. I mean, we have to wait to see if how that pans out this year. But Kyle Van Noy was
we say that every year. We said that with Chandler Jones. We said that with.
But Chandler Jones wasn't what he is now. Chandler Jones is a better player now. He was a good player. He was a
very good player at that time.
He was a good young player in New England, but now he's arguably he's the top 5, undoubtedly a defensive end in the league.
Who's the other pass rusher that went to Cleveland? For the Patriots?
From who? Marcavius Bingo or some shit?
Nah. A couple years ago. They let go Chandler Jones. That was a huge one, and then they had someone else.
Lawrence guy? No.
Blank on his name. Anyways, we
top
see
of my head.
We see it time and time again with the Patriots. I don't doubt. We never know. We always say, oh, now this one's too much. Bill Belichick's in over his head, and they still win.
But I mean, I believe the losses of Van Noy, Collins, Harmon. There's Danny Shelton. I believe that is going to be too much to overcome with a Cam Newton. Okay. Maybe not with a Tom Brady, but with a Cam Newton. And I mean, I better hope, because you think how the level of confidence you got in Bill Belichick. I mean, I do too. But at the same time, Bill Belichick ain't the one on the field throwing passes.
And then, but I think Cam is just good enough to get you there. And not just good enough. I think he's good. You pair him with Bill Belichick, I think you have a pretty good tandem. But let me just ask you a quick question then. How many games do the Patriots win with Jarrett Stidham starting all season?
See, like off the top of my head.
You said 5-6?
No, off the top of my head, no research or anything. Look at the schedule. I say 6, top out at 7.
And Cam gets you 8? So Cam gets you one more game than
8,
Jarrett
top
Stidham?
out. No, it could be 2. 8, top out at maybe 9. I think at best 9. But I would say realistically, if I would have had a gun to my head right now, I think the Patriots go 6-10 off the top of my head. Cam Newton, I say 8-8. So I think he gives him. He's injury riddled, man. He's got to also stay on the field. Shoulder injuries, he's also injury riddled, and he's getting up there in age too. So I mean, he's not the healthiest cat in the world.
The system in New England is different than what he had in Carolina, though. But injury is definitely something we have to watch out for. I mean, that's the whole reason he's unsigned right now. So we'll see if he can get there.
I'm excited to talk about this one, Felipe. The NBA, man, they gave us a little timeline. They gave us a little leak I seen on Twitter. It's not official. Hasn't been from Shams or Woj yet. The big dog. But there's been some leaks about when the season possibly is going to resume. And they're talking about the next, I think, July. Camp would start June 20th. I believe June 20th. Not for sure right now. And have about 3 weeks of that. Season start July 15th. They'll finish 5-6 games. And then the playoffs will start right after that, and end the finals in around NBA Labor Day-ish, around there. And I just believe – I think I like this because now we get a timeline. Now we get dates. So once you start getting getting dates, it becomes hope. So now I just hope they don't break my heart or some shit happens and shit like that, because I want regardless of how the NBA is gonna be, and I'd rather see fans than no fans. I'd rather see somebody celebrating with 20,000 in a crowd and having a parade afterwards. But we can't get everything we want in life, so shit. I mean, I want to watch basketball. I like basketball, so I mean, I like how we got I like how we got a date now, and that it's starting. Now we can start to look forward to something.
Yeah, dates make it almost as official as it can get. You know what I mean? I mean, now you kind of have a timeline, and that's dope. What's if that's the case though? What's the case on next season though? Yeah, a delay on that, or have they said anything about that?
No, they did. It's per Keith Smith. This is what he came out with. He gave all the little timelines, kind of how I just mentioned. And the draft would be late September, so about 2-3 weeks after the NBA Finals, how it normally is. Free agency would start shortly after that. The season would be around, he said, Christmas Day-ish. Now that's when they really want to start, is have opening day Christmas games, is what I've been hearing and seeing. But I don't know if it ends Labor Day. That only really gives you October, November. That gives you 3 months. So that's really short, because I think they get normally July, August. They get normally about 4 months. Right? They get about 4. So I think if they don't, it could be, if they do, it could be short and off season. They go from, start in December on Christmas. If not, maybe around a little after New Year, something right there. But it's not going to be a huge delay. I mean, they're not going to start in like November, like October.
Yeah, you got to give them time to recover in a regular time.
But it's not going to be like, oh, we're giving them 5 months. We'll start spring break.
Absolutely.
It's not like that.
Yeah, unprecedented times call for unprecedented measures. So, like, taking care of it that way, and if that's the best way we can go about it and get back to the swing of things, NBA basketball, everybody wants to see it, and the players, they don't want to play. They don't want to do it. I was hearing John Morant. It was John Morant on a podcast, and he was asked, does he want to play? And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody wants to play. The only players that don't are the ones that aren't making the playoffs. So
he's a young rookie, and they're matched up. Probably going to play the Lakers first round, probably.
Right. But he's just happy to be there. And you know, like you said, the only players that don't want to play really are the ones that aren't going to the playoffs. So what we want to see is the playoffs. So give a damn about that. If it can happen, it can happen, man. That's exciting
for sure.
And apparently, rumors coming out right now. That Jamal Adams and the Jets, I mean, it happened last year. They weren't on the best terms as far as contract went, but apparently they're at a stalemate right now. So they're at a stalemate. And neither side is really budging.
I'm going to relax on this one, man. I'm going to relax on this one.
And we all know Dallas boy, Michael Irvin is really like his uncle. Apparently they have a really close relationship. And Mike said, the Jets are seeking a first and a third round pick. He wants to go to Dallas. He said that last year. That
everybody wants to go. Everybody wants to go to Dallas. We're linked up to every candidate. If we can get Jamal Adams,
let me tell you the difference this year, though. Dallas has a new head coach who likes to make those kinds of moves. Look. Alden Smith, Gerald McCoy, Dontari Poe, Clinton Dix. He's bringing. I don't know if they're all washed, but yeah, they're not in their peak. But he's bringing all these guys in. Jamal Adams obviously is getting to his peak. Like he's a very good young player. So is it worth the first and the third? I mean, that's for them to determine. But hey, speculation. And if he doesn't go to Dallas, who knows? He goes somewhere else. I mean, I'm sure there's a team willing to cough up a first and a third to get maybe the best young safety in the NFL.
For sure. I mean, you said it's a McCarthy. It's a new coach, but it's the same front office, and regardless of the coach, Jerry is the guy that's calling the shots. So I don't know how much of an input a coach gives. I mean, remember they used to call the coaches for Jerry puppet masters. They were the puppets of they're the puppets of.
Well, Jason Garrett wasn't undoubtedly a puppet master. Sure.
Yeah, so it was puppet. So I mean, I just feel like, and I feel like this happens in all Dallas sports, and I hate it because I've learned not to get my hopes up, specifically with the Mavericks and the Cowboys. We're always linked up to free agents. I swear this is a trade, and I get this one could be more real because he is from Dallas. He's expressed that he would love to come to Dallas.
He wants to go to Dallas.
But I just don't know if the Cowboys if Jerry's going to pull that trigger because they don't value safeties and all that. Yeah. But I just hate, especially with the Mavericks, how I swear the Mavericks I'm going off topic. They put their names on any just random players list. We were in the talks for LeBron, apparently.
Yeah.
We didn't get a meeting with them.
Well, it's different now too because you have a team that can build around Luke and everything. And I'm pretty sure I've seen that they're looking at Bradley Beal possibly, and I can really see that happening.
I love that.
So now I think it's a different situation now with the Cowboys. It's more of a organizational thing, desire. With the Mavericks, it's just players just chose not to come, or if they did choose to come, and then they got locked down by teammates who didn't let them sign, like DeAndre Jordan. So the Cowboys, it's a different situation. But I mean, look, if Jamal Adams is to go to the Cowboys, like I said, who knows if another team isn't willing to cough up a first and a third.
Yeah, I mean,
he needs to get out of New York, man. That organization ain't doing him right.
No, I would like to see him. Yeah, I would like to see him on the Cowboys, and they can get him. And there's a lot of teams I like to see him on winning. I like to see good players win.
Hey, man, and just like that, we're gonna call it a day. Episode 7 in the books. It was a little fiery today. Lots of topics to hit, man, and we really got into it.
For sure, we had a lot to choose from, and this past week it gave us a lot, and yeah, we really hit them hard today, and yeah, man, this one was a fun one. They keep getting better.
Keep getting better. Make sure to hit all the links in the description, man. We got all the social medias there, and we got a lot of content coming out steady on everything. So make sure you follow that. You want funny stuff, man, bites, clips, everything. You don't want to watch the whole episode, but you want to catch a little glimpse of a discussion. You're going to have all of that on the social media and on the playlist on the channel as well. So make sure you catch that because we're going to be bringing it to you. We're next up on Monday, so yeah, tune in.